Good morning, students. Our today's topic is difference between combinational and sequential circuits. Before discussing the actual difference between both of the circuits, we will discuss the combinational and sequential circuits one by one. Starting from the combinational circuits, these are the circuits whose output at any instant depends upon the input present at that instant only. That means when we are going to take the output from any of the combinational circuit, that particular output will depend upon the input given at that particular time. This type of circuit has no memory unit. This is a block diagram of combinational circuit. Here we are having n number of inputs and m number of outputs. And this diagram shows that the outputs will depend upon the inputs, and the output of any instant will depend upon the input at that particular instant. Here we are having some of the examples for the combination circuits. Firstly, we are having a half adder. This is a combinational circuit which is used for adding two binary bits. Full adder, this is a circuit used for adding more than two binary bits. Magnitude comparator, it's also a combinational circuit that compares the two binary numbers. When we are going to give two numbers at the input, the output will tell us that these two numbers are equal, less than or greater than each other. Next combinational circuit is a multiplexer. This circuit is having n select lines, 2 raised to power n number of inputs and a single output. The select line will decide which of the input will be shifted to the output. Next is a demultiplexer. This circuit is having n select lines, 2 raised to power n number of outputs and a 1 input. And the select line will decide that this particular one input will be shifted to which of the outputs. Next is the sequential circuits. These are the circuits whose output at any instant depends not only on the input present but also on the output that was previously on the circuit. That means when we are going to take the output from a sequential circuit, that particular output will depend upon the input present at that particular instant and also on the previous output. And to store that previous output in the circuit, we will be needed a memory unit. So this type of circuit has memory unit to store the past output. This is a block diagram of sequential circuit. Here we can see we are having a combinational circuit and a memory element present in the circuit, and this memory element is connected to the combinational circuit with the feedback path. So when we are going to take the output of the sequential circuit, this output will depend upon the input present at that particular time and also on the memory element. That memory element will be having the data that is the previously output of the combinational circuit. Here we are having some of the examples for the sequential circuits. The first one is a flip-flop. This is a circuit that flip-flop is basically a storing element that can store a single bit in a in itself. So that single bit may be a 1 or maybe a 0. So registers are also the sequential circuits. We are having two types of registers. One is a buffer register and second is a shift register. Buffer registers are again used to store the information and shift registers are used to store the information, and these registers are also used to shift the information. And in the next lectures we will discuss these flip-flops registers in details. Some other sequential circuit is a counter. These are the circuits. Obviously, these are also a sequential circuits used for count the numbers of the clock pulses. And these all sequential circuits will be discussed in the next lectures. Now, in the difference between the combinational circuits, we are going to discuss one here few points. The In the combinational circuit, the circuit whose output at any instant depends only on the input present at the instant. And on the other hand, the sequential circuits are the circuits whose output at any instant depends upon on the input at that present time, but also on the past output. And again, in the combinational circuit, this type of circuit has no memory unit, because the output will depend only on the present output. There will be no needed there will be no need of the memory unit, basically, because we are the output of the combination circuit will not depend upon the previous output. And on the other hand, on the sequential circuit, this type of circuit has a memory unit, because the output of the sequential circuit depends upon the input and the previous output. So to store the previous output will be needed here a memory element. So examples for the combinational circuits are the half adder, full adder, magnitude comparator, and the multiplexers and the demultiplexers. The examples for the sequential circuits are the flip-flops, registers, the counters, etc. Thank you.